name is Heike Strombach, and I'm sitting here with Leonard Orr, and we just went to the Bhartriji Ashram, Bhartrihari, the 2,000-year-old yogi, and we are here at the Tiger Den in Sariska Forest. And Leonard, could you tell us a little bit about Bhartriji as well as the Shiva Lingam that we just visited and you just saw on the video before?
Wrote a book about him, and he was a king before the time of Christ, and he had a disillusioned experience and left the kingdom behind and became a sadhu, wandered around India for years, and then he decided to stay in one place and established the ashram that we just visited. And so he's been there for 2,000 years. He wrote many books when he was 300, a trilogy about renunciation, about women, and about citizenship. And he wrote a book about epistemology, which is world famous in philosophy departments and universities all over the world. And then he meditated on those books for another 400 years. He wrote the books when he was 300. He meditated on those books for 300 years and became a total 400 years and became a total master of the physical universe. And so he's been a yogic master since he was 700, so for the last 2,000 years.
So do you consider yourself one of his students?
Well, I definitely get inspired by him. I have learned the most valuable things that I have learned from Babaji, who has a 9,000-year-old body that I have spent a lot of time with for 5 years. And he taught me the basic ideas of spiritual purification, which is working with the elements earth, air, water, and fire, as well as purifying the mind with the mantra Om Namah Shivaya. That's the basic teachings that I learned from him. And the true religion he calls true simplicity and love. And so I have experimented with love in the form of spiritual community. So spiritual community or serving other people, what Babaji sometimes calls a form of karma yoga. There are many forms of karma yoga. Working in the world and being of service to humanity. And so spiritual community is a very powerful form of spiritual purification and what we might call adult education.
So you mentioned Babaji. Could you tell us a little bit more about Babaji?
Well, my understanding of him is that he's the creator of the universe in human form, that he creates bodies for his own personal use. And he has created innumerable bodies since the beginning of creation. Human bodies have been around for about 12 billion years. And some of his early disciples or devotees are still around. They've been on the planet for millions or actually billions of years. If you want to name, Agastya is the best known, also called Agastya. And then there's Bakadalba. Bakadalba has been around for about 8 billion years on the planet. Very spectacular individual. You can find his presence in many scriptures throughout histories. In the Ramayana history, which took place 130,000 years ago, and he's in the Mahabharata, which took place 5,000 years ago, and he lives on an island and has maintained his body for a long, long time.
So these numbers for our Western mind seem unbelievable. how would you how could you explain it, that this long time frame of creation, we are not used to those numbers in the Western world, I think.
Okay, so Gorakhnath, who's only been around for in a body this particular time for a few thousand years, says that physical immortality is the conscious expression of the eternal spirit. That incorporating the body into the conscious life of the eternal spirit. And Gorakhnath has trained more immortals than anybody in the last 100,000 years. And so the writings of Gorakhnath are, most of them were written in the last 1,000 to 2,000 years, are extremely valuable, really valuable books that he has produced to instruct people on how to become yoga masters and masters of the body and the mind.
So the temple that we just visited, one was Bhartriji's temple, and the other one was the temple to Gorakhnath. Gorakhnath was the teacher of Bhartriji?
Yeah, Gorakhnath is the guru of Bhartriji.
Is that another form of Babaji?
Yeah, but Gorakhnath is one of the body's forms of Babaji.
Could you tell us a little bit more about the Shiva Lingam that we honored and offered water?
Well, the Shiva Lingam, which is just a rock protruding out of a vulva, symbolizing the penis and the vagina, is the only authorized object of worship in the Hindu scriptures. And so it symbolizes infinite intelligence, infinite being, and infinite manifestation. So the mother principle embodied in the vulva is the symbol for infinite being. The phallus, or the masculine principle, is a symbol for infinite intelligence. And the Shiva Lingam itself, which is a physical thing, is symbolic of infinite manifestation. So it's just a fundamental presentation of the world of spirit, the world of the mind, and the physical universe.
And the mantra Om Namah Shivaya, would that be the word for this, or the mantra for the same, for manifestation and intelligence?
Om means infinite being, Shivaya means infinite intelligence, and Namaha means infinite manifestation. So,
could you please wait
so the idea...
Can you please repeat that?
Om means infinite being, Shivaya means infinite intelligence, and Namaha means infinite manifestation. So the idea of the Shiva Lingam is that it becomes an embodiment of energy, intelligence, and power, practical power. And when a Shiva Lingam has been properly installed and properly utilized as an instrument of devotion, it accumulates energy, life energy, which you can feel when you're standing next to it. And so the basic idea of having, utilizing the energy of a Shiva Lingam is just to be next to it and to see what its energy does to your energy body.
So the Shiva Lingam at the ashram of Bhartriji Hari is a very special Shiva Lingam.
Very powerful.
Do you know how old it is? Do you have any idea of...
Well, I've been told that the Shiva Lingam, not in the temple, Bhartriji's temple, that's less than 2,000 years old. But Shiva Lingam down the road a little bit I've heard, is 25 to 50,000 years old. And of course, when you get over 25,000 years old, another 10 doesn't necessarily mean a lot. But it's a very powerful Shema Lingam and I like to visit it and benefit from its energy.
So how do you think we can achieve this, what you call physical immortality?
Well, we're already immortal. The spiritual dimension is already immortal. Our spiritual dimension, our divine nature is already immortal, so we don't have to do anything to be immortal. We just have to stop killing ourselves. And then we do have to incorporate the body into the conscious life of the eternal spirit. And the most experiential way I have experimented with doing that is with the idea of spiritual purification with the elements of earth, air, water, and fire, and spiritual community.
So how do you think we kill ourselves?
What?
How do we kill ourselves?
Well, bad habits of thinking, beliefs that destroy the body, negative beliefs.
So everybody believes that we have to die. Is that one of those beliefs?
Well, that's pretty self-sabotaging.
And what do you recommend that we think instead?
That incorporating the body into the conscious life of the eternal spirit is what we're supposed to do as we realize more and more of our divine nature and liberate ourselves from the errors in the emotional mind.
What do you consider the emotional mind? What is the emotional mind?
Well, it has to do with unconsciousness for the most part, and understanding the impact that birth trauma, the parental disapproval syndrome, the unconscious death urge, which we learned from our family tradition, karma from previous lives, which is a real biggie, and other cultural conditioning inputs that take us away from the constant awareness and realization of our divine nature.
So in traditional Catholic or Protestant religion, they don't tell us that we have a divine nature, do they? Or how can we change those beliefs that we are traditionally taught in the West?
Well, we have to work on them one at a time.
And we do that with affirmations?
Whatever works. Affirmations, self-analysis, therapy.
And rebirthing breath work.
That's very helpful.
So do you think...
Rebirthing has helped more people heal birth trauma than any other thing that I know of.
So are we immortal by nature?
Yes.